Hello and welcome to our latest edition of the Business Spotlight interview series. I'm delighted today to be joined by Tom Ginn, founder of Bread Hospitality. Welcome, Tom. It's great to have you with us.
Hi.
Hello. So, Tom, why don't you just start us off by telling us a little bit about Bread Hospitality and what it is you do?
Okay, so Bread Hospitality was founded 2 years ago now, right in the middle of the pandemic, to act as a full circle support arm for the hospitality industry. This includes recruitment of staff, social media marketing, creative design and consultancy.
Fantastic. So starting something up in the middle of the pandemic, what was it like to get going when we're struggling?
I mean, it was a little bit bonkers. It's, you know, I've worked in hospitality since I left school at 16, and you know, it's an industry that I don't really see myself working in any other. And when the pandemic hit, obviously hospitality came to a grinding halt. And whilst everybody was winding down, I was almost winding up, thinking, well, the second this pandemic finishes, everyone's just going to want to go to the pub, go to a restaurant, and you know, the issues that the industry are going to face on the back of the pandemic were that all these staff, these hundreds of thousands of staff that were working in the industry would have had to retrain as delivery drivers, as work for the NHS, whatever it may be. So not only when hospitality reopens is there going to be this unprecedented demand, there's going to be no staff to serve the demand, and certainly in the east of England, where you can't fly away for a period of time, people are going to holiday, and they're going to holiday in Norfolk and Suffolk and on our doorstep. So although from an outside person looking in, going, well, are you going to start a hospitality business in the middle of the pandemic? Actually, the reality is that it was a calculated risk that I felt would be great. You know, I knew there'd be a demand. I knew people would need help. I felt like I was best positioned in the market to be able to help with my experience, and I touch wood, we've never looked back, and we've helped many.
That's fantastic, and obviously an exciting period of growth over the last 2 years for you as well, because you mentioned being a full service provider. What does that entail? What does it involve?
So, I mean, although a big part of our business is recruiting staff, one thing I didn't want to do was to be just another recruitment agency. It's a crowded market for recruiters, and I decided to opt in a different way and to actually hire in hospitality professionals that I could teach how to do recruiting, but also teach how to do other parts of it as well. And actually, when you look at the team that I've got, I've got Rob Spillings, who's my operations director. He's a big part in the setup of Middleton Steakhouse. So, he's more than just a recruiter. He can actually give business advice. He can do costings. He can do so much. So, as we built the team, I kind of adapted the business around the people I had in the business. So, the creative design element was through my wife, who's a brilliant graphic designer. So, for an example, Jenny, if you were to buy a pub and you've never worked in a pub, but you just bought a pub, then you literally could come to us and we could do everything, absolutely everything. We can design you a logo, a menu, a board. We can hire the staff. We can train the staff. We can do every element that there is there to run a successful hospitality business.
Fantastic. So that ability to offer multiple things depending on what's coming to you. What sort of clients and customers do you find you enjoy working with the most?
So, I mean, our market is very independent. I would say local, but we've sort of stretched as far as sort of London and Oxfordshire. So, but it's independent businesses, and I think the real key to successful partnerships with us is businesses that are open and willing to adapt and change, because hospitality now isn't what hospitality was before. It had an awful rep, and we try as hard as we can to fly the flag of good working hours, good working pay, 4-day working weeks, whatever it may be. We work with our partners to ensure that they stand out in the crowds. So any business that can adapt, can change, that are open to suggestions and ideas, we find we've had some really good success and long-standing relationships with.
That's brilliant. And obviously, having been running the business for a couple of years now, what do you find is the best thing for you about running the business?
I mean, I'd love to say the leisurely holidays and time off, but I'm waiting for that bit to kick in. It's the freedom. It's the freedom and the ability to make change. And I think that's powerful. And I've always been employed, up until I wasn't. Until you do it, until you take that leap of faith, until you become fully responsible for your own decision making, it's difficult to try and explain. But right now, my destiny is in my hands, and yes, I've got responsibilities with staff and everyone else, but actually, ultimately, I can do what I want, and within reason. But and it works, and it's that sense of freedom.
Sense of freedom, amazing. It's something probably that other people maybe watching and listening this might aspire to. On the flip side of that, you've mentioned, I suppose, the responsibility element of running the business. What do you find are the biggest challenges that you are facing at the moment in running the business?
I think it's always the fear of failing. Certainly when you've got people very dependable on the job. And I think I was very wary of that from when I was employed. Now I'm an employer. I treat my staff in a way in which they feel almost self-employed. They pay the salary, they do their job, but they feel like they're in control as well. And I think by giving them this power and this responsibility as well, it actually helps me to not feel like I am carrying the whole load and this fear of failure. And everybody, it's more of a team. There's no dictatorship. Everyone is a team. And I think it stems from some advice I was given when I was learning through the managerial kind of structure, was that for businesses to succeed, you can't be the most important person in it. And from almost week 2 in this business, when I hired my first member of staff, it was right. How do I not make it all about me? Because it needs to be about every person that comes in here. And so many of our clients and partners now that use Bread Hospitality don't know who I am, and to me that's a great sign of success. However bizarre that sounds.
It's amazing that empowerment that you give to your staff. And so who inspires you when you think about, you've been in business, as you say, you've been in the hospitality industry since you were 16, been running your own business for 2 years now. Who inspires you to do more and more of what you do?
I think it would be my staff. It's I know there isn't there's a lot of business leaders and business owners that I may look up to, but I think in regards to inspiring me, what gives me the inspiration to do more, to add, to buy other businesses, to open businesses, to listen to ideas, is the team that I've got, and without them, I wouldn't have done half of what achieved half of what we have. So. Yeah, maybe not the answer you're looking for, but
it's a brilliant answer, and how lovely for your staff to know that that's part of your inspiration as well. So looking to the future, what does the next few years hold for Bread Hospitality?
Well, if you'd have asked me on the 2nd of January, I'd have said we are not opening any more businesses this year. This year, we're going to focus on the 4 that we have under the Bread Hospitality Group. But some opportunities have come up. We're looking at scaling certainly the food and beverage offering that we have through Toast and Milk, which are the sort of subsidiary companies of Bread. You can see I'm creating a shopping list with the business names. I'm going to run out of ideas soon. So yeah, I'm not one to put down a 3-year, 4-year, 5-year plan, not even a 3-month, 6-month plan. I'm very reactive, which also could be a downfall. But actually, if opportunities arise, we're in a very good and stable position to be able to jump at them. So I'm really excited, partly because I don't know which way it's going to go. But it will go up, surely. It has to.
It will go up. It will go up. You just don't know. You don't know what's around the corner. I love it. It's exciting.
Yeah. If it feels right and it looks right, then big exciting things to come.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It sounds like you really trust your instincts in business as well, and go for the opportunities when they arise. If you could give yourself, your 16-year-old self when you were starting out in the industry, a piece of advice, what would you say to yourself?
I think maybe learn to say no sometimes. I don't recall the last time I said no, apart from to my children. take risk. It's just a job. If it doesn't work, get another job. I know life isn't as black and white as that, but it is just a job. And I regularly tell my staff that. My staff regularly tell me that when there's times in which the pressure is kind of building up, is it's just a job. We'll always be okay. Work hard to play hard is it's kind of certain elements of that. But actually, if you enjoy yourself and you enjoy working, then you're onto an absolute winner.
Brilliant. On to an absolute winner. There we go. You heard it here from Tom. So Tom, an absolute pleasure talking with you today. If anyone wants to find out more about the different arms of Bread Hospitality, where are they best to head to?
If you're Norwich-based or Norfolk-based, head down to YALM, the old Jamie Oliver's in Norwich, where we have toast and milk for some of the best brunch and ice cream. And believe it or not, they do go together. And to follow any updates on the company, it's all on our website. So but thank you.
Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure to talk to you, and wishing you all the very best with the future of Bread Hospitality.
Well, thanks, Jenny.